Tim, I think we're podcasting.
We are live. Actually, we're not live. We're pre-recording.
Yeah,
these.
we're not a live. This is not a live organization. I will say something horribly stupid and regret it.
Exactly. You want to be able to go back and look at what you said, make sure you're okay with it before you put it up for consumption as a podcast.
Welcome to episode 1 of the Vann Cave. You're in the Vann Cave, and I'm Matt, and it's my buddy Tim. And you're going to see a lot of Tim. Tim and I have been friends for a long time. We are co-workers in the Tim Kreitz band. I'm his bass player. And we've been hanging out a long time.
Many, many years.
Quite a few years. This is probably episode E1.04 for two geeks, one of which is an actual pro audio engineer, and I'm pretty good with computer stuff. We have had nightmares getting this going.
Well, we're using the gear in a way we have never used it before, and what we're dealing with here, not to bore the audience with it, is
we really need to talk about this.
Yeah,
I think.
That mixer is encoding the audio files in a very high bit rate and in sort of a weird format, if you will, and so that's what's causing the
This
problems.
is the mixer that travels with our band on the road, and it has a really strong record feature. But here we are.
Yeah, we never record with it. We just use it as a live mixer.
So here's to episode 1.
Cheers, my friend.
May this be a keeper.
Yes, indeed.
All right, so here we are with the Vann Cave. And so here's what's going on, folks. The Vann Cave this is a game room my wife and I put together over the years, and a lot of cool people have hung out here. And this is where adventures are planned and recapped, and beer is consumed, and cigars are burned, and we've had a good time in here. And Tim, among other friends, Tim is a YouTube personality, and many of us are podcast consumers. I hadn't been until recently. Everybody said, hey, man, you need to do a podcast because you got interesting people. And honestly, everybody's aware of my health situations with the cancer and all that. I was more interested in being on a motorcycle or a sailboat rather than suppressing the urge to crush expensive electronic devices like I am today. So as you guys know, the health thing kind of took a turn. It's a long story. If you follow me on Facebook, you know what's going on. But I'm kind of laid up for a while. I can't lift over 15 pounds, I think, until June.
4 months.
Yeah, 4 more months. And so it's a good time to sit down and do stuff like this. Get people in here. I bribe them in with alcohol. And a lot of people, a life is... my experiences and all, I've had a lot of fun, a lot of good times. It's about the people around you and the experiences we've had. And it has been a blast just talking about this project, the people that we're going to get together and the things we're going to do. So we're going to talk about that this first episode. We're trying to keep them short. We're not quite long format people. But one of the things that you've probably heard this all your life, and I've heard it, is, man, if Grandpa would have just sat down and recorded his war stories and
he had
stuff
just
like
told
that.
his stories to somebody in his own words.
So that's a part of it. And also, we live in Midland, Texas, which is, man, it's a good place to raise kids and all that, but it's kind of stifling as far as stuff to do. Is that fair to say?
Well,
you think?
It depends on what you like to do. The stuff that a couple of self-proclaimed Renaissance men like to do is not always what the average person like to do. If you like, for example, going to amateur and school sporting events, there's a lot to do here.
Yeah.
If you like, for example, going to church, which I enjoy sometimes, but not.
There's a lot of that.
There's a lot of that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that at all, but I'm just trying to say it's such a family-oriented community historically that everything tends to revolve around school activities, sports, and church activities. And we are into things like strange sports nobody knows about. We're very much into motorcycling. We're very much into music. Obviously, we've been making a good portion of our income.
We're going to talk about music a lot
for years off of me as performing musicians. So this is sort of a way to show that there are other things going on here besides the Friday Night Lights stuff you're always hearing about in the mass media from West Texas, and the oil boom. You're always hearing about the oil boom and what's happening out here and how the infrastructure and population is being affected by it. There is more going on out here than just the stuff that gets sort of regurgitated into the mainstream media.
Yeah, you got to make your own way, and if something looks interesting, go out and do it. That's the best way I can explain it. And the people that I'm around have brought that stuff to me. And I've always said, if you want to be good at something, find someone that's good at it and hang out with them. Tim's made me a better musician. All my friends have made me a better person. And that's what this is about. And, when I'm gone, that's there. It's there for my family, for my friends. I'll tell you what's cool. All my buddies, I'm 48, and we're pretty much starting to fall apart. And our hard drives are full, and we've forgotten things. And we've sat down here in the Vann Cave, and we hang out at Murray's and different places, and guys at work. And I'll say, man, I would love to get together and talk about this. And somebody will say, man, I forgot all about that. Oh yeah, I remember. And so it's a good way to recap and have a good time. And for everybody that's listening, this isn't my goal is not a big commercial channel where I can quit my day job. I don't care if it gets 5 views per video. This is for me. It's for my buddies, for my friends, and all that. But if you have suggestions or anything you would like to hear or remember story, or if you want to come in here and sit down, the beer's free. I've been reading up, while I was laid up, how to do a podcast, and everybody says, yeah, don't drink anything carbonated or all that. You're gonna
forget
burp.
that.
And I thought, if I didn't have beer, nobody would talk to me. Right? I couldn't get you guys in here. Yeah, we're not gonna have any beer. Yeah, well,
all the best podcasts on the internet have some level of adult substances.
There's something. We're shooting for PG-13.
PG-13, just a little beer. That's it. That's about all we do.
If you hear sports, they're going to be weird sports. Politics, kind of, sort of, maybe.
Only if it's incidental, I think. If it's like if it's necessary to illustrate a point or the greater story, I just don't see this becoming like an all-out politically driven or pundit driven. For one thing, we're not pundits, so
no, I'm bad at it. And one thing I'm proud of about my friends is they understand how dangerous it is to have an opinion about something when you don't understand it.
Yeah.
And we're morons, so we don't understand a lot of stuff.
Well, and just me personally, and I know I won't speak for you, although I believe this about you too, but when it comes to me, I'm so iconoclastic in my political and social beliefs that it's something that I don't think is there. We need to debrief the essence of our interests on this podcast. That's a better way to spend our time, because I'm telling you right now, Democrats hate my politics, and so do Republicans.
I heard a term today, and I couldn't wait to drop this on you. We are politically homeless.
That is true.
Right?
That is true. Yeah. We are politically homeless. So let's just not even bother with it that much.
We have a lot of weirdness. I've been a cop a long time, and that shaped it, and in the military and all that. And then half my life, since I was a child, I've been hippies and musicians and all that. So you never know. But we're hobby collectors. Everybody has a lot of interest. And I want to share that and inspire people to get out there and do stuff and have a good time, and understand that the time that you invest in things will mean so much if you find yourself sitting in a chemo chair. That's sort of my perspective of it.
Yeah.
I can look back with no regrets. I mean, I'm upset that I can't be on my sailboat right now, but I'm here with you. We're going to have a good time. We're going to kind of set things up for what we're going to do in the future. I do want to bait everybody a little bit with some YouTube drama. Tim's a YouTube personality, Tim Kreitz Adventures, and I have been honored to be on a number of episodes. Tim has been on all of us. Like my closest friends. We've been on motorcycles a long time. Tim has a YouTube channel, and we'll link it. Are you going to do the post on this episode, or?
Yeah, I can do that.
I don't know if I like that because you're really good at it. And the ones that I do the editing, it's going to be in crayon.
This is going to be so simple to do in post-production compared to any of my professional video productions or anything on the channel. That don't even worry about it.
Yeah, Tim does professional. He does commercials. He does. I think he's done real estate and oil field. He's a drone pilot. And I honestly, when I edit videos, I have all these great ideas, and I just want to drive to your house and punch you in the face for how easy you make this look. It is horrible.
Oh, it's not easy. Yeah.
I mean, we have had to shoot this episode more than once. First time was my fault. I chewed up the video, or the audio. The first thing I worked on the masters, the stupidest thing anybody could ever do. And it's just, so
you'll get it. It's important though. It's important though for you to be able to get the raw files done on your own, because I won't be here for every episode. You're going to want to have other people in here besides. And everybody will be like, oh man, it's that busy. Tim Kreitz guy again.
I'm an 8 to 5 guy. I have a fantastic job, but I'm an 8 to 5 dude, and you're not. I know I'm going to have to, but that's it. So just real quick, if you have ideas, if clubs. Cool people, man. I'm dragging one of my neighbors in here. The guy Johnny. I hope I can get him in here. Oh man, that dude is fascinating. Yeah. Just the stuff he's done. And I said, how do you know you're going to get along with the guy? I was driving in one day, and this dude has like a 25-foot saltwater center console boat, and I've got a 19-foot sailboat like behind our houses. We're both, working on our boats, waving at each other. I'm like, yeah, that dude's a weirdo too. So
this is what it sounds like when doves cry.
Yeah, bromance. So we're gonna do that, and we've said the word, and I kind of want to go over it. Podcast, and
yeah.
The reason is, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, it's a holdover word. The podcast that we know today has outlasted the technology it was originally designed for. It was a broadcast for the iPod. No, technically this isn't a broadcast because it's not over the air, and it's not going on to any iPods or a very small portion of them that's 15-year-old technology. Yeah. So the term, it's interesting that the term podcast has long outlived the technology that it was originally designed to serve.
The word bothers me because one of the things I've done in my career is forensic work on phones, and I have always hated iPhones.
Yeah, me too. And I'm a Mac guy.
Yeah,
my entire studio is all Macs.
That's different. That's way different.
But that right there that I'm holding in my hand is an Android. Yeah, I'm weird about that.
I'm an Android guy. My wife is issued an iPhone at work, and some of the guys at work have them, and they bring me stuff on, hey, you know about this stuff, and I'm like, I'm a heterosexual male over the age of 12. I have no use for an iPhone. I know that's horrible. No offense. See, this is why
you went there.
This is why
we're getting off on a bad foot, Matt.
So, anyway, a podcast. It's all we're doing. It's a talk show, and I'm going to bring people in, and we're going to talk. The time limit is, kind of shoot for one beer's worth, 20, 30 minutes. If it goes longer, if it goes shorter, we're done.
Yeah.
We, if somebody does something stupid, we have a problem, the dog comes in here and barks, we can cut that. And the cool thing is you can listen to it whenever you want. And we are on YouTube, the Vann Cave, the logo back there, which Tim designed for me. Vann Cave on Facebook. And also we're thevancave.com will take you to our audio hosting, where if you just want to get the audio, low bandwidth, very simple interface, and it automatically uploads to iTunes, which I'm sure is meaningful to some people. I don't.
Yeah, actually, a lot of people that are avid downloaders. I've had people who listen to my personal one-man podcast on my YouTube channel say, hey, man, just give me an audio version of this. I'd love to have it. So people do download podcasts. It's just not something that's always streamed or done, audio, video, audio. So yeah, it's a good idea. I think you're on the right track.
Yeah, we all have a face for radio.
Yeah, that's true.
All of us do. And one of the things, like I said, the guys were always talking about it. Tim's been chomping at the bit. to do it, especially. And when I was laid up, my wife and I were in a hospital, I was at MD Anderson, and we were in an apartment for 2 months, almost 2 months, near MD Anderson, that had the smoking hottest internet I have ever seen in my life. I mean, almost tried to suck it dry. She had her laptop going with work. She was working from the apartment, and she would have a laptop burning. She's on a teleconference. I'm playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and on top of that, it had every channel in the world of TV you could imagine. I think it's DirecTV or something. And I found myself, my wife got me into watching podcasts, and I found myself bypassing all that and watching two dorks with microphones talking about stupid stuff.
Kind of like we're doing right now.
Just like this. So here we are. I'm a Joe Rogan fan. Do Scott Adams, the big ones. Count Dankula.
Yeah.
If you can understand him, he's Irish, Scottish. Anyway. Sargon, not so much. But then special interest stuff. There's all the stuff I like to do: sailing, shooting,
right?
Music. Oh my God. Scott's bass lessons is incredible. All that stuff, and comedians that have podcasts. So that's what we're doing, and we're gonna have fun with it. Again, I don't want to get too deep into stuff, but we might. Drama's
we'll
little
see.
drama, a little craziness is good, I think,
and inevitable. As goes life, so goes podcasting.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. If you don't mind, man, can we talk about your YouTube drama? And again, I want to shoot local, and I'm not saying I'm friends with Craig Anderson, K-Well, the KCRS people. I know some of them. Tim and I have done radio together. We've hosted the Spirit of Radio show together. I
do some terrestrial radio on a somewhat regular basis. I'm one of the go-to fill-in hosts on KW.
Yeah, awesome channel. But when you're doing broadcast, when you're doing terrestrial, that you're kind of fixed on a topic. You have to talk about music. And we
have all kinds of constraints. You've got sponsor constraints, time constraints, FCC constraints. It goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
Here we can do whatever we want. We got to abide by all the YouTube guidelines, which is not a big deal for what we do. We're not going to bully or freak out anybody. We don't really care. That's the big part. Those are all very well structured, cool things to do. But here we can come on and talk about, metal detecting, which something we do, or whatever.
Metal detecting, astronomy, hunting, music, motorcycles,
fencing,
beer brewing,
more music, beer brewing.
Yeah.
Oh man, we collect stupid games, and I have a Crocodile board. You can't see it. It's, a lot of stupid stuff. And I'm gonna drag buddies in here. I got friends that'll come in from out of town, and like I said, anybody or if you listening want to come in and talk, we'll have a blast. I was sitting here thinking it was probably all the crap they had me on when I was in the hospital. I was like, man, that's fun, but I don't just want to buy all this crap. And I thought, there's a recording studio in my home.
Yeah. We both have full-blown production facilities in our house. We have between the two of us, actually probably individually, every single thing needed to do a podcast.
Well, I bought these groovy little mic stands, and they suck, and I'm probably going to get booms eventually.
Yeah.
So, but, this isn't about counts. It's not about money. I have no Patreon or Subscribestar account. I think I'm out $13 a month for the audio hosting. We'll see how that goes, because I may cut that off if nobody's using it. Okay. So that's where we are. And we'll see where it goes. We may have just lied to you, and this may be a political show.
When we're in the infancy of the very first episode and trying to still feel out the style and the rhythm of the show, it's impossible to see where this thing might be a year from now.
How many of our ideas and gigs and relationships and careers have started out really well intended and just kind of gone off into the ditch?
Hey, man.
So
exactly.
Yeah. So that's what we're gonna do. Let's start off with some drama. Are you cool about talking with your channel drama?
I am cool with talking about it. I don't consider it necessarily, it's not full-blown drama. It's just something that's never happened before. My channel is pretty innocuous. My channel is about going, I mean, it's obviously a sort of a documentary of my riding life, mainly motorcycles. I mean, every once in a while we'll take the cameras, and when we go on the road and go on tour and go play shows, we'll document our touring experiences. And we did
the hunting trip.
Yeah, we did the hunting trip. I've got a video with some real nice videography of our hunting trip. And so I do break from the mold every once in a while, but generally it is us on our motorcycles going out to explore and find things. And out here in West Texas, it usually works out to be abandoned places and ghost towns and things that have Texas history to them. The mail beacon remnants.
The
airmail beacon remnants.
We've gone to my observatory.
Right. It is our interest, but we also work with the land. We work with what we've got.
Yeah.
And so one of that is going to ghost towns and exploring abandoned places. Yeah. And that's where all this started.
Let me set this up as a viewer, because I was not on this trip.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
This was the first time I got on a motorcycle after the surgery. Was this 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, something
like that.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. And they're going to go. Tim was, nice. Hey, man, I know you probably can't go, but we're going to ride to Lenora, some old buildings. And I actually got on my KLR and I rode. We ate at
you met us for lunch.
Yeah, Michael's, and I spun the bike up just to get the cobwebs out. It was the first time I'd been on it since my surgery. And we got there, we had lunch, and I'm like, yeah, man, I probably shouldn't do a long trip, but thanks. So you guys go and you find this really cool building.
Abandoned. It was an abandoned drugstore, like a deli and drugstore, and one of those places, like in the small towns where you'd go to get everything from one place. They got the soda fountain, they've got the deli or the butcher shop, and it was a general store, that sort of thing. And all it's left is just the shell of it.
Fantastic shot you got in there. I mean, I loved it. You did a pan. And I saw the Dr. Pepper partition thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how the hell did nobody steal that yet?
With the old Frosty root beer stickers on it that are still on there.
Was it Dr. Pepper and Frosty?
It was both,
This is like those screens, the partition screens, the fold-up things, like you always see the girls undressing behind in the movies.
Yeah.
In the middle of this just junk. But anyway, so you guys are doing your thing, you look through it, and you look up, and there's this cat standing out by your bikes.
Yeah. And keep in mind that we're in the middle of nowhere. I mean, we're in a town of 80 people.
Yeah.
And they're spread out.
And so you guys go up there, and this dude is obviously, I've been around this stuff a lot. I wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I've been in law enforcement a long time.
You've got plenty of experience with inebriated
really
people.
See mental illness. I'm seeing what I think is a chemical influence of some type.
Right.
As you put it earlier, he may have been crossfading on more than one thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's not violent. But he's just there and he's being weird. And you were there. I've just watched the video.
Well, and I should say that the guy was not. I mean, he kind of I felt like he maybe got agitated a few times, but overall, he wasn't like a violent or dangerous person. He was just a very inebriated individual, and he was standing out there staring at our bikes, staggering. And I basically just let I had a GoPro mounted to my chest, on my chest mount GoPro. That's all I had time to shoot with, because as soon as we got into that building, he was out there, and we needed to go check and see what he was doing around our bikes. And so I caught this whole thing on a single GoPro, and the guy essentially was incomprehensible for the most part. Every once in a while, he would have moments where he was coherent and could form a sentence, and the rest of the time it was just a lot of mumbling and murmuring and staggering. And he had an interest in the bikes. He wanted to look at the bikes. He kept asking us where we were from and where we were going.
But when you say he was being confrontational, that was not in the video.
Well, no, but
I didn't see it.
He kept asking, "Where are y'all going to? I kept telling him, "We're just going home after this, dude. We're just out for a day ride." But he couldn't remember from one moment to the next what he had asked and where he'd asked. And you see that he asked us where are we from? Where are we going? Where are we from? Where are we going? A couple of times. Anyway,
yeah, I caught that.
So anyway, it just got to be really awkward, and the guy obviously wasn't going anywhere. Like, he had no intention of leaving. He was going to stand there all day, and Britt had enough of it.
Yep.
And Britt was like, "Come on, Tim, let's go." And so we left, and we went to a nearby town called Stanton. Grabbed a Red
Yep.
Bull. We always end up in Stanton, which I make mention of in the video. Anyway, and from there, I go home. I shot a little sequence where I pull into the garage and say, "Hey, I need to offer a few caveats about this guy." Now, let me say right up front that I concealed his identity.
Yeah, I wouldn't have picked him out. I even found, I didn't tell you this. I forgot to tell you this. I found somebody who lives there and grew up there.
Okay.
And showed this person the video. And the first thing she said was, "What the hell is anybody doing there?" That's like,
yeah,
that's not something you would be walking from Matt's house to Tim's house.
Yeah.
And just turn up. And she had no idea who the guy was. And she said, even if I knew him, and if I didn't recognize his voice, I wouldn't know who the guy was because of the way you concealed his face.
Right.
So.
I concealed his face. He said his name a couple of times. I concealed that. I didn't include that in the edit. And essentially, I got home and said, "Hey, look, man, I'm going to put him in this video, but I'm not trying to make fun of him or demean his humanity. I just feel like this is something that's never happened to me before. I document my writing life on this channel, and I feel like this needs to be included. This is just something that is a new experience for me." So that was pretty much the end of it. You know, I even made mention of, I hope he gets the help he needs if he has a substance abuse problem.
You were
which is
gracious
true.
Is the best way I could say
Yeah.
it. And here's the other thing.
I don't want to demean the guy's humanity, and that's one of the reasons why I concealed his identity.
Your channel is worldwide, and I mean,
well,
it's a motorcycling community. There are people from all over the world on your channel.
Yeah, I have it's a small but dedicated audience that's all over the world. That's true.
But still, I mean, to a couple of guys in Midland, Texas, what are you at? 10, 12,000 subscribers, something like that?
About 10,000 subscribers.
Yeah, still, that's a lot of people. And it was a very a very compassionate response.
Thank you. I thought
over
so
the whole
too.
thing. Not just you, but your listeners. Your viewers.
Yeah.
I went through that and I didn't see, I'm going to say it, man, not what I would have. You saw what I said in the text messages, which we're not going to get into, but I have a different threshold for that.
Right.
It involved intercourse and a rake. But anyway, it's everyone on there was, "Hey, I hope he gets the help he needs. Man, that's really sad."
Uh-huh.
It's like that in my community. We have a drug problem here. So
right. Anyway, that was the end of it. I put the video up. It's sitting at about 1,000 views right now. My views tend to get, you never know what one of my views is going to get. It might get 500 views. It might get 20,000 views. It depends on the subject matter.
1,000's not huge for you.
No. Well, no, it's not huge, but it's about average. A 1,000, between 1,000 and 2,000 views is a good Tim Kreitz Adventures view count. So it's sitting at about 1,000 views now, and I start getting some messages from different people saying, "Hey, man, I know a guy who lives there in Lenora, and he was telling me about the store you guys were at. One guy told me the name of the store, and he said, my buddy can remember this, and this about it." I got another one saying, "This guy, I don't recognize him, kind of like you did. He must not have been there for very long." And then I get a message on Instagram in my DMs that I did not approve because I didn't want to have an exchange with this woman.
Was this going to be a comment?
It was going to be a private message on Instagram.
Okay.
It was not on YouTube.
I don't Instagram, so I don't understand. So this is a private message. She attempted to reach out to you, and you just haven't. And ghosted her.
Well, I read it, but I did not approve it because once you approve or accept a message, then
it opens a dialogue.
It opens a dialogue. I didn't need to have a dialogue with this woman. She basically said, "Hey, look, I know that you have every right to put this video up, and I'm just going to ask you if you would to please take it down. This caused a lot of problems with him and his family. And so we'd like for you to take it down if you could. That would be great. Anything you can do to make things go better with him and his family." And I'm thinking to myself, how is the problems that he has created with his family through his apparent substance abuse problem, how's that my fault? The guy's in a public place. There's no presumption of or expectation of privacy in a public place. Anytime I'm out in public, I assume someone is recording something I'm doing. That's just the way. That's the world we live in.
Were you on your chest rig or the?
I was on my chest rig with the camera blinking.
Right.
And so it's just kind of one of those things where I don't understand how I got to be, quote unquote, the bad guy in this thing. And I started to realize this guy probably has a lot of codependent relationships in his life where people are constantly trying to cover up for him and look out for him, when really what he needs to do is stare. If he has a substance abuse problem, he needs to stare it in the face and decide if he wants to deal with it or not.
Well,
and I think it was an embarrassment factor. Maybe his family was embarrassed. Maybe even though his identity is not revealed, it caused internal strife in his family, which maybe it needed to.
Dude,
maybe this, if some changes need to happen, maybe this will be the catalyst for that. And so I kind of, you guys, we had a sort of an exchange on Instant Messenger about what I should do. Should I take it down? Should I not? And everybody agreed that I shouldn't take it down because it could be something that, you know.
Editorial comment. I think Tim was going to take it down before he talked to all of his asshole friends.
I was considering it.
Well,
just simply because I don't want to create problems in somebody's family, but then I came to understand through talking to you guys and by thinking about it that I'm not the one who created the problem.
No. And here's the thing that I want to share with you is, and again, I'm going to go back. I've been a cop a long time, been a street cop, I've been a detective. My detective role put me waist deep in family bullshit all the time.
Yeah.
Kids, and we did juvenile crimes, juvenile victims, juvenile offenders, all of that drama. And so why would it cause the rift? Well, maybe as kids and an ex is trying to get custody or whatever it is, whoever wanted that, they have that video. Yeah. It's there forever.
It's there, man. Once it goes out on the internet, there's no takesies, backsies.
Which is why this is pre-recorded.
Right. We want to make very sure we're satisfied with it, or as satisfied as we can be, or have a minimum amount of doubt.
As good as my job is, we're going to review.
Yeah. That's the whole thing, is once you put something out on the internet, it's out on the internet. If I shut the video off or unlist it or set it to private or completely delete it, there's a really good chance that it's still out there. Somebody downloaded the video. Lots of people, I've found this out since I have such a big audience in Australia and places where the internet isn't so good. When people get to a place where they have good internet, they'll download a video they want to watch later. They'll download 50 videos and put them on their phone or their tablet so that when they get out into the outback or get out into somewhere where the service is spotty, they can still consume media that they downloaded earlier.
Yeah.
It's always going to be out there, and it can be re-uploaded every time. In fact, we had a problem in the motorcycle channel community just a few years ago when the genre was at its height, with people doing that very thing. They would download all your videos, repost them on ghost channels, monetize those channels, and try to make as much money as they could off of the videos before they got caught. So there's no taking it back.
So I have to say, Tim, you're one of the kindest souls I've ever known. I've had to dial your gain back twice, man.
I'm starting to get excited, man.
Well, here's the thing. I totally get it. And man, if there's not divine intervention, I am so glad that I was too banged up to go.
Yeah.
Because the 27-year cop in a lot of pain with stage 4 cancer being approached by some strung out dude that wants to queer my good day with my buddies. It wouldn't be violent, but I have been flypaper for dickheads like that through my whole career.
Yeah.
I would have said something ugly to him, but anyway.
Well, we were cool to him. It's just the thing is that the guy had no intention of leaving. We figured out after several minutes that he was just going to stand there all day.
Yeah.
As long as we were there, he was going to be there. And so Britt finally decided to leave.
Yeah.
I was holding on to hope that he would decide to move on after he said hi and took pictures of our bikes, which he couldn't do because he couldn't work his phone because it looked like he was too inebriated to figure his phone out.
I was watching him with that phone, and and a lot of things. If I had to, I don't even want to throw it out there. I do think the dude's crossfaded. I'm just kicking it out there.
It might be a possibility, but anyway, the gist of it being that the guy was just there, as I said in the video, for the duration. He had no intention of leaving, so Britt decided, well, we're done here. Yeah. You know, we're not going to get to film this place. We're not going to get to look through it and all that sort of thing. So we just left. We went to a little nearby town called Stanton, grabbed a Red Bull and talked about things. And then when I got home, I gave my disclaimer about how I hope he's okay. I'm not trying to make fun of him. I'm going to conceal his identity. But I'm going to show this because it's something that's never happened in my riding life, and I want to preserve it.
Well, I'm glad anybody that's going to be drunk is going to be invited, and we'll laugh at him and have some fun. But I think you handled it well. I really do. You have that ability. You don't have shot out nerves like some of my other friends, that we wouldn't have. And I'm bringing this up. This is just Tim's channel. It's local. I bet everything's within 200 miles of here. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I love
except
what
for
you
California
do. We've done California, we've done Junction, we've done stuff like that. Like I say, he's gone the road. Sometimes it's not motorcycles; it's hunting trips and stuff. So anyway, it's good. But I don't want to do any drama. That's why, man. If I just don't want to say anything stupid, and that's one of the whole politics religion thing. But
I just thought it was kind of funny that the video's sitting there with about 1,000 views on it, and of that measly 1,000 views, which is nothing in terms of YouTube. That whole little town seems to have found it.
And in the of all places and of all the small towns we've been and all the cool people that we've met, and it's been fantastic. And I don't know. I think you should leave it up. That's just me.
I'm definitely going to leave it up, at least for the time being. Now I'm in a weird situation where I hope it doesn't go viral.
Yeah. Well,
let's talk about it some more.
as videos that are dick bombed by inebriated people go, that was extremely mild.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too.
Cool, man. I think we got E1 in the bag.
I think so.
Thank you, Tim.
You bet. My pleasure.
We got a little. I kind of wanted to drop that on Tim, but let us know what you'd like to hear. The email is set up. It's simple, thevancave@gmail.com. It's linked on all that stuff. Again, we're on Facebook, The Van Cave. It's a public group. Jump in. YouTube, The Van Cave, just like it's spelled up on the graphic that Tim made for me. And what else? Thevancave.com will take you to the audio feed. Great for phones and all like that if you really...
Make sure to subscribe, all that kind of stuff, across all social media.
I want to thank you. We need to wrap up, but I want to say this. If you like YouTube, if there are things on YouTube that you watch, whether it's crocheting videos or yoga or anything like that, make yourself a little account. You don't have to put any videos up. You give a username, you give an email, and you will find some amazing stuff on there. It's really good. And you could subscribe and support guys like us. So,
exactly.
Yeah, I found a lot of cool stuff. Oh, man. You get into sailing videos on there, it goes crazy.
Everything is on YouTube.
Dude, there's a guy that sailed to Hawaii on a boat just like mine.
That is crazy.
Yeah, I've been terrified on that boat in Canyon Lake. And this cat sailed to Hawaii, man.
Well, we will be able to touch on all those subjects and more. I think we need to do another one here pretty quickly where we talk about all the strange atmospheric occurrences that have been happening.
Oh, yeah, the
here.
lights. We're doing that.
Yeah, we'll do that pretty soon.
Dude,
so, make a note of that. Get your little notepad out.
E2 is going to be...
That's a teaser. We call that a teaser, in case you're wondering.
Teaser. E2 is going to be about the mystery. We'll call it the mystery lights or whatever.
Strange
we'll go from there.
Atmospheric occurrences.
Yeah, so we're in the bag. Guys, thank you. It's 3/4 to half a beer. You got to catch up.
Yeah, I report.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye.